So. Halt Schnauze! Okay, wir schauen uns das jetzt an. Das ist leider nur ein kurzes Video, was wir mal machen. So. Prank um 3 Uhr nachts geht schief.
Entschuldigung?
Ja?
Soll ich Ihnen diese 10 Euro geben oder sie vertausendfachen und an eine Kinderhilfsorganisation spenden?
Also, der Zehner sieht schon schmackhaft aus, ne?
Sicher, dass Sie armen, bedürftigen Kindern nicht helfen wollen?
Also, ich glaube, ich würde ihn nehmen. Sie können los. Sie können. Ja. Ja, schönen Tag noch. Grüßen Sie die Kinder von mir.
Entschuldigung?
Ah, das ist ganz witzig.
Soll ich Ihnen diese 10 Euro geben oder sie...
Das ist ganz nett. Ja. Schön. Ehrenwerter Mann. Ehrenwerter Mann. Vor allem Break um 3 Uhr nachts geht schief. Nachvollziehbar, muss ich ehrlich sagen. Ich kann sehr nachvollziehen. Es gibt hier noch was mit 50 Euro.
Entschuldigung?
Ja?
Wollen Sie 50 Euro in bar haben oder soll ich den Welthunger endgültig stoppen?
Stoppen Sie den Welthunger.
Ah, okay, cool.
Spaß!
Ah, okay, geht so. Ja, okay. Boah, ich hätte richtig Lust, gerade auf so ein längeres Video zu reagieren. Ne? Das machen wir ja sehr selten. Aber dafür brauchen wir natürlich wieder Atür. Der Atür schlägt ja immer so Sachen vor. Wo habe ich zuletzt... warte mal. Habe ich irgendwas in meinem später Ansehen? Ja, Leute, das ist auch so ein Ding, ne? Später Ansehen. Meine Videos auf später Ansehen. Es ist einfach zu viel. Zu viel ist es. Ja, Leute, es gibt einen YouTuber, den ich sehr gut finde. Scott The Wars heißt der. Der hat hier ein Video, das ist 31 Minuten lang. Wir können ja mal reinschauen. Was haltet ihr davon? Der macht halt über Videospiele Videos und ich mag das sehr. Ich mag den sehr.
Selbst meine Tochter, die ist überwältigt. Wenn wir uns treffen, dann nimmt sie mal mein Google und macht erstmal Fotos. Weil die Auflösung eben genial ist. Jetzt muss sie eben einsehen, dass ich das Bessere habe. Ich bin Uwe. Ich habe ein Google Pixel.
Ich weiß, ihr könnt es noch nicht sehen. Es gibt auch nichts zu sehen, es gibt nur Werbung.
Mit TUI neu erleben. Neue Eindrücke sammeln. Städte erkunden. Ferne entdecken. Abenteuer wagen. Die Welt mit TUI neu erleben. TUI.
Ich kannte diese Werbung noch gar nicht. Simon.
Hey,
So.
Scott here.
Ich habe bei später Ansehen meistens nur Resident Evil Info-Videos, die ich morgens beim Zähneputzen nicht ansehen kann. Geil, aber das Ding ist, ich würde mir auch gern so vieles reinziehen, aber ich will mich doch nicht spoilern lassen. Ich bin ja theoretisch erst bei Resident Evil. Ich bin erst bei Resident Evil 2. Also das habe ich jetzt durch, ne? Aber ja. So, ich zeig euch Scott the Wars.
Molecules. I can admit that. Those molecules form a man with
Es
skin.
geht um PC Games on Console. Also das ist bestimmt interessant.
Who uses it to play bug. Evil is inborn.
Ah, aber geht der Sound so? Sagt mal Bescheid, ist das zu laut?
But that was.
Auch
My
wenn ich
brain
jetzt
was
so
only
rede?
ever designed to be this, which means if I want to tolerate using a PC for 30 minutes to discuss PC games on consoles, I must go forth with brain surgery, replacing it with an exact copy.
Bisschen leiser, okay. Also ich nehme an, es gibt viele Optionen, wie man das jetzt deuten kann. Ich nehme an, du willst das Video ein bisschen leiser, oder?
Though now, with the PC game tolerance toggle switched to iffy, the results.
Maybe.
What's scarier than a serial killer? A serial killer in your house! This is a video game console, a piece of hardware designed first and foremost as a game-playing device.
Passt das denn jetzt so? Oder soll ich immer noch leiser machen?
You may be able to do other things on it, but at the end of the day, these products are meant to be
Die Wii U, Leute, never forgotten. Never forgotten, muss ich ehrlich sagen. Also,
plugged into your TV, connected to a controller, and playing games specifically designed for it. Not much can go wrong here when using a video game.
lol, ist das hier Splatoon? Ja, Leute, ich habe ja nicht mal Teil 2 von Splatoon die nötige Aufmerksamkeit gegeben. War so ein Fehlkauf eigentlich. Es war richtige Geldverschwendung. Ich habe ja so wenig da nur gezockt. Aber Splatoon 2 kam auch, habe ich hier mehrfach schon gesagt, kam auch viel zu schnell nach Splatoon 1 in meinen Augen. 5 und 6 sind meiner Meinung nach die besten, aber sind halt Bocken. Aber was? Sind die besten? Bocken zu zweit einfach mehr, okay. Echt? Die Bocken zu zweit mehr? Okay, der Piston passt, alles klar.
Game console, the only thing you truly use is your ass. This is the simpleton's method of playing video games.
Er läuft in die falsche Richtung!
No necessary knowledge on fixing anything, no fears if your game won't run.
Pikmin habe ich zum Beispiel noch nie gespielt. Habe ich echt keine Ahnung. Ich habe nur Pikmin damals bei diesem Nintendo Land Ding gespielt. Das hat Spaß gemacht.
The only thing you have to worry about is if Applebee's will be open after this. And because of that, I feel that many console users, myself included, forget an entire world exists beyond this. Ever hear of personal computers? Yeah. Video games on PCs. Yeah, I don't believe in God either. Some people prefer playing video games this way. Some people also punch cats. Now, I have a PC here. Wait, let me get the dust off of it. Yeah, I am primarily a Mac user, which, hey, I can play games on here. Uno. There's actually more...
Okay, also er ist da anscheinend genauso wie ich. Ich bin ja auch überhaupt nicht PC-Gamer. Ich weiß nicht, ich brauche einfach auch eine Konsole, die einfach dafür gemacht ist, nur auf Videospiele. Und PC mache ich andere Sachen mit und das wäre mir irgendwie... Nee, ich bin da nie... Es hat für mich auch als Nintendo-Fan nie wirklich Sinn gemacht natürlich und... Ja, ich bin ziemlich zufrieden damit, Konsolen-Gamer zu sein. Das Splatoon 3 mir jetzt auch geholt, aber Overwatch hat mich gerade mehr in den Bann gezogen. Okay. Mitten im Satz hat mein Gehirn abgeschaltet. Sorry. Also 5 bis 6 kann man zur Zeit spielen und das macht halt mehr Fun als alleine. Hab auch gehört, 5 ist alleine sehr schwer. Okay, krass. Dass das so auf Multiplayer gegangen ist. Okay. Also PC-Spiele auf der Konsole.
games and you may expect that.
Also ich denke da vor allem jetzt so an so Shooter, die halt richtig scheiße sind, wenn man sie an der Konsole spielt mit Gamepad, ne? Das merke ich ja auch schon bei Resident Evil zum Beispiel. Also das ist halt einfach wesentlich schwieriger.
Released for Mac, but that doesn't really take away how I like my computer to be for productivity and my console for pleasure. But hey, there's reason some
Geht mir genauso.
people prefer gaming on PC. Much like how many say there's some reason people bugs. A game console's controller only has so many inputs, with thumbsticks offering limited range on where you can go with them, compared to a PC's natural input, the keyboard and mouse. Yo, they got caps lock on this thing? Damn it. Well, you have like over 100 keys and a mouse that can go damn near anywhere? I mean, move a cursor on screen with your controller. Now with a mouse. Yeah, it's fair to say this control setup has some advantages, at least with certain games. Not sure how much it helps with Wii Fit. So I guess we just have to live with the fact that some games, they're meant to be on PC with a keyboard and mouse, and if we want to play them, well, we're just gonna have to log off WikiHow. And I'm too busy using my keyboard and mouse, not paying off my loans to play video games with them. I would love to get into PC gaming, believe me. Was that believable? But I've accepted the fact that PCs and I get along about as well as not me and not PCs. It would work out. I would love to play The Sims 2 Pets, but I just don't have time to use a keyboard and mouse. Did I say keyboard and mouse? I meant states of matter. PC games on consoles. Dogs in funny suits. Get him out of there! Well, PC and
Ja, das sind diese, wie nennt man's? Konvertierungen, wie nennt man das denn nochmal? Oh Gott. Ich hab's vergessen. Wenn man ein Spiel umdesignt für die andere Konsole. Ich komme nicht drauf.
Console gaming can be quite separated at times. Numerous titles share the mediums, even if it takes a while. Many console games eventually get a PC release, which is oftentimes met with roaring applause. Like you finally unshackled the prisoner, it's about damn time! So of course, you'd expect the same reception when a PC game spreads its wings to consoles.
Oh Gott.
The president's been shot. Let's start with a classic, SimCity, created by the company Maxis. First released on PCs as early as 1989.
SimCity kenne ich auf jeden Fall vom Namen. Aber irgendwie habe ich mir das anders vorgestellt.
Create your own city and you too will understand the life of government officials. You need more housing. Or a third zoo. SimCity is a game that'll never get old, no matter how many times you boot it up. You'll always find something new to try, with the game actively encouraging you to screw around and watch everything burn sometimes, featuring a toggle to turn on a monster attack, for example. While the PC was always SimCity's home, the series received numerous console editions with not only the most...
Ein Port, das war das, was ich meinte. Ein Port, wenn Spiele umdesignt werden für... Ja, das war das Wort.
Notable, but the first one releasing it for the Super Nintendo as a launch title in 1991. Published and even developed by Nintendo. Yeah, they nabbed the SimCity license and made the SNES version themselves. They even changed the monster attack to a Bowser one from Super Mario Bros. But this is still classic SimCity, and honestly, it may be better than the original on PC. Nintendo added a ton of charm to the game, with background music everywhere, fun visuals with the character of Dr. Ike coming in to tell you shit's f***ed. They even added a lot in the form of new buildings. This felt like Nintendo had a ton of love
SimCity sieht überhaupt nicht nach etwas aus, was mich reizen würde.
Admiration towards the original PC game and just really wanted to make a version themselves. But keep in mind, this is on the Super Nintendo and uses a controller. So instead of just moving the mouse wherever you please, you now have to control a cursor with the D-pad, which isn't nearly as precise. Oftentimes I find myself overshooting or undershooting where I want to go, and the user interface doesn't feel adapted to the console enough. It still looks and feels like the PC release, and because of that, it can be tricky to click on specific things or know what some buttons do. And they released a damn mouse for the system a year later. If SimCity didn't use it, thank Christ Vegas Stakes did. It isn't too bad without a mouse, though. I think it works fine enough with a controller.
Eine Maus für
it doesn't get too frustrating.
SNES oder was? Hi, hallo Manuel. Guten Abend. Schön, dass Sie da sind. Hallo, hallo, hallo.
Mainly due to how simple the original SimCity is. However, it does immediately show the problem.
Ey, es gab einfach eine SNES-Maus. Danke für die Werbung.
Erfrischt den Atem, hilft das Zahnfleisch
schön.
zu schützen, stärkt den Zahnschmelz.
Ja.
Odol mit 3.
Odol mit
We show
3.
the problem
Kauft
with bringing
es
some
euch.
PC games to console. But hey, for an older conversion, this holds up insanely well and was done with a ton of care, which bodes well for the other PC to console games. After SimCity, the sky's the limit. The ants are winning. Sim Ant, one of the many follow-ups to SimCity. I mean, they covered all bases. Sim Earth, Sim Life, Sim Farm. It was
Sim
only a matter of
Ants.
time. Death, taxes, ants. In contrast to SimCity on SNES, Ant, plus the other Sim titles, weren't developed or published by Nintendo. This one specifically was actually published by Maxis themselves. I feel that the success behind City on the platform opened the floodgates for all these titles to go all over the place, which is both great and terrifying. Hey, more people get to play Sim Ant. Oh God. Sim Ant on SNES is
Also
alright.
Sim Ant klingt extrem nach einem Spiel, was wir in einem 24-Stunden-Stream mal durchrattern sollten. Sim Ant, ich weiß nicht, wie es euch geht, aber mich spricht es extrem an.
Compared to the original PC version, this one feels a lot more zoomed in
Wow.
and confusing to navigate. It works
Geil.
though, decent version of the game on console. No, you can actually use the Super Nintendo mouse in this one, which is a more than welcome feature. Lacking support for the Super Scope though.
Was ist das denn? Hä? Was? Das sieht ja eher aus wie Sachen, die für die Wii später gemacht wurden. Als ob. Was ist das? Wie soll das funktionieren? Das ist doch Quatsch. Ich werde hier doch gescammt gerade, oder?
Oh, not realistic. The problem though, as these games kept getting pumped out on PC, they were getting more and more complex, which worked great on computers, but made console conversion so much more
Ja, also
complicated.
da hat er auf jeden Fall ein Genre an Spielen ausgesucht, das macht echt nicht viel Sinn.
10 von 10 von 10.
Hey, vielen Dank fürs Folgen, Manuel. Danke. Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Dieses Spielgenre macht nicht so viel Sinn auf einer Konsole, aber wer sowas spielt, macht vielleicht generell nicht so viel Sinn. Entschuldigung, mein Fehler. Ach ja, Leute, mein Arbeitsplan für kommende Woche ist draußen. Wie sieht's aus? Alles klar.
SimCity continued to get console games throughout the years, but
Ja, für ein DS muss man sagen, mit so Touchscreen kann man sich das schon besser noch vorstellen, ne?
I have
EA. Das war safe nicht immer EA, ne? SimCity.
SimCity DS, released in 2007. While this isn't a direct conversion of a specific title, it just doesn't feel like they put the time in to rethink how SimCity could work on the handheld. Instead, it kind of adapted how it's designed on PCs to the interface of the Nintendo DS.
Das sieht gar nicht gut
What?
aus.
It works, it just doesn't feel as optimized for the DS as it could have been. Everything's too small and awkward to select with the stylus pen. How everything's shown at an angle, while true to the PC game, it makes it clunkier and less intuitive to place objects with a stylus since your damn hand's in the way. This seems like it would have been a match made in heaven. The touchscreen can replicate a lot of the precision you get with the mouse. The problem is, they didn't make SimCity for the DS. They kind of just threw SimCity on the DS.
Ja.
Consoles just don't seem
So
to be
sieht's
the right
aus.
fit
Boah,
for
guck mal. Das sieht aber schon wesentlich besser aus hier.
any of these types of games, which is why sometimes they'll put out original games based on PC series just for these things. From the Sim series, only for Wii.
WTF. Es gibt ja so viele Drecksspiele, muss man sagen, ne? Das kommt mir sogar bekannt vor. Hanna, kennt ihr diese Leute oder vielleicht wart ihr selber welche dieser Leute, die teilweise auch so richtige Müllspiele hatten? Also, weil ich habe immer sehr ausgewählte Spiele nur mir gekauft. Aber es gibt Leute, die haben so wirklich alles Mögliche. Die haben auch alles Mögliche und die haben zwischendurch dann auch so voll den Quatsch da drin gehabt. Und da habe ich im Verlauf meines Lebens immer wieder Leute kennengelernt, die das so hatten, die dann so richtige Quatschspiele da hatten. Und wenn du so ein Spiel ist für mich, also. Und der Witz ist, ich kenne das Spiel gar nicht. Ich habe jetzt nur das Cover gesehen und ich sag, das ist ein Drecksspiel. Aber Leute, wer würde diese Wette mit mir, also wer würde gegen mich wetten? Wer würde gegen mich wetten hier? Dass das kein Drecksspiel ist. Komm.
In Nintendo DS, we got Sim Animals. Now, why was this not on PC?
Sim Animals. Ey, guck mal, das verwirrt mich nämlich jetzt. Sim City. Hat das doch was mit den Sims zu tun? Weil das i-Pünktchen. Hat SimCity denn auch was damit zu tun oder geht es jetzt hier nur um Sim Animals? Das frage ich mich.
In Nintendo DS, we got Sim Animals. Now, why was this not on PC?
Und warum wusste ich das? Also, warum kann man sowas schon an Covers erkennen? Okay, und vielleicht am Publisher EA, ne? Aber, nee, vielleicht am Titel einfach schon. Vielleicht am Titel. Vielleicht kann man einfach. Und da da denke ich mir auch so, wer sowas programmiert. Stell dir vor, das ist deine Arbeit. Guck dir das Bild an, stell dir vor, das ist deine Arbeit. Boah, harte Sache.
PETA. It works well with the Wii Remote's pointer, but that just makes me ask why this didn't also release on PC. Hey, sometimes you gotta throw the console users a bone. In this case, it's Beaver Allen. F you, Windows! But hey, the Sim series has been throwing console users a bone. F you, Windows!
Ja, sogar Beaver Allen. Hä?
But hey, the Sim series has been throwing.
Das gehört anscheinend. Aber gehört SimCity zu Sims? Das würde mich interessieren. Aber nicht so sehr, dass ich es googeln würde.
Throwing console users a bone each and every entry. As part of the same Sim franchise as the previously discussed
die sind
games,
da auch
The
auf
Sims
Konsole
is one
halt
of the
einfach.
most successful
Meine Schwester
video
hatte damals ein Sims-Spiel für die Wii. Und das war einfach ganz anders als das normale. Warum geht's jetzt weiter hier? Ich habe nur lautlos gestellt.
Starting with the original.
Wo waren wir? Hier. Ungefähr. Die hatte so ein Sims-Spiel für die Wii und das war ganz anders also das hatte gar nichts mehr mit so Sims zu tun, wie sie es vorher am PC geliebt hat. Und das war eher so, ich weiß noch ganz am Anfang, als sie das ausprobiert hat, kam sie irgendwann schon, also direkt am Anfang so beim Tutorial irgendwie nicht weiter, weil irgendwas auch nicht so, ich glaube, nicht so klar erklärt war. Aber, generell strange Nummer, das hatte eher sowas von Animal Crossing, so ein bisschen. Es war komisch.
But hey, the Sims series has been throwing console users a bone each and every entry. As part of the same Sim franchise as the previously discussed games, The Sims is one of the most successful video game series of
Boah, warum funktioniert das hier mit meiner Leertaste nicht mehr?
all time.
Was ist das für ein Scheiß?
The most successful video game series of all time.
Kacke.
Throwing console users a bone each and every entry.
Ich
As
muss
part
das
of the
jetzt mit
same
Maus machen, wie scheiße.
Sim franchise as the previously discussed games, The Sims
Er sagt, das ist das gleiche Franchise. Sim City gehört das auch dazu? Also, das ist ja...
Sims is one of the most successful video game series of all time because people love to use a keyboard and mouse to do weird shit. It's all about creating your sim and living life, customizing your place, getting a job, starting relationships, or none of that. Piss on the floor. Starting with the original Sims, that may have launched on PC.
Lol, das erste Sims habe ich ja nie gesehen, fällt mir jetzt gerade auf, wenn ich das gerade mal sehe. Ah, The People Simulator from the creator of SimCity. Tatsächlich. Tatsächlich, wusstet ihr das?
But eventually made its way to consoles 3 years later, the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Yep, here it is, the worst thing. The Sims on console oftentimes isn't bad, but it just isn't fun to control, man. Going from a keyboard and mouse to 2 thighs and a torso feels like I'm controlling Sims with a keyboard ball. Every action is crammed into the controller, but it's still not enough, and you have to go through all kinds of menus and different screens for action that would just require you to move the mouse and click on PC. Whenever I'd see The Sims on consoles, I'd get excited. But after 30 minutes of trying to make do, I would give up and just try to get into nicotine again. It's not unplayable by any means. It's just too clunky for me to really have fun playing with a controller. Well, The Sims on console was followed up by The Sims Bustin' Out, a game that was never on PC. This was a console-only joint on PS2, GameCube, Xbox, Game Boy...
Meine Tastatur hat einfach aufgegeben. Ich glaube, das ist eher das Problem. Ja, weil wenn ich jetzt hier was tippen will. Ja, jetzt geht's.
Advance and Engage.
Sehr schön.
The GameCube! So, The Sims on PC had loads of expansion packs. And by these, you get more content in your game.
Krass, die haben damals schon DLCs gemacht. Einfach.
Like dogs and sex and cats. The Sims Bustin' Out is pretty much a new version of Sims 1 with various features from those expansion packs included, with the biggest feature being the ability to leave your house.
Das sieht richtig scheiße aus. Also für PC ist es einfach besser. Also keine Frage. Dafür ist es gemacht.
Which is where the title came from. Okay, moving on. It's more of the same from the last one control-wise, but on the Game Boy Advance...
Call of Duty, nee, spiele ich nicht. Call of Duty spiele ich nicht.
We have an entirely different experience that, honestly, feels a bit better to me. It's not trying to be a consoleized version of a PC game, because it's on the GBA. They just had to flat out make a different thing entirely. This is more of an adventure game with RPG life simulation elements. You can't achieve the level of detail on consoles and PCs, so why even bother? Just make something that works leagues better
Was ist das denn? Was ist das?
on the Game Boy Advance, while retaining the
Das ist doch nicht der Game Boy Advance.
character of The Sims. Beautiful. The console version? I mean, if you're gonna play Sims 1 on console, you might as well go the bustin' out route. There's just more in this one. It's just, every second I play this, I just wish I had a damn mouse. Be careful what you wish for, because I got a rat instead. The Herbs Sims in the City.
WTF? Kennt ihr das? The Herbs? Sims in the City? Verrückt.
It was a total console-only spit-off to The Sims, this one focusing on grungy city and apartment living, on box and ferrets. Why this wasn't on PC, I have no damn clue, but it does feel a bit more tailor-made for console. While it maintains the tropes of a life simulator, Herbs is a bit more focused on getting to an end point. It's not as open-ended as a normal Sims game. You want to build up your rep across all the districts, and that lust is what drives you through the experience, whereas normal Sims games, I'm gonna make you piss your pants. This game looks like it tried Monster twice. The Sims 2 on consoles features a
So, ab da weiß ich, also ab da hat man, ja, das kommt mir sehr bekannt vor. Meine Schwester hat damals Sims 2 auf dem PC gespielt.
New control scheme where we aren't telling our Sims where to go with a cursor. We just control our Sims outright. Scared the shit out of me when I first played. This goes against everything I expect from The Sims, but I will accept it for the sake of my happiness. It's so much more enjoyable to use a controller with a control scheme like this. Plus, they have a story mode, multiplayer. I mean, sure, features have been cut from the PC game. That's generally the case with console versions, but honestly, this is a decent version of Sims 2, regardless of how many changes they made from the original. Such as, no expansion packs, you couldn't just buy the Sims 2 Pets expansion for your game, you just had to flat out buy the Sims 2 Pets. Yeah, this was an expansion pack on PC, but on console, it's a standalone release. Controls just like the console version of Sims 2, which is a blessing. And it's just taking the gameplay of The Sims 2 and making it more focused on owning pets. Gotta be honest, this one I was getting pretty into. I mean, it's bitch easy to earn money, you just rub the mutt's stomach a bit. That's a new sync right there. And I found the house building and editing controls to be surprisingly intuitive on the GameCube controller. The Sims
In der Regel muss ich meinen Hund anleihen. Als ich letztens im Urlaub war, war es so eine wunderschöne Szenerie. Also kann ich den magischen Radierer benutzen und es sah aus, als würde sie brav dort sitzen, ohne angeleiht zu sein. Ich bin Svenja und ich habe einen Google Pixel.
Ja, krass. Liebe Grüße, Svenja, das machst du super. Hä? Was ist das denn? Nick Fury macht Werbung für Marvel Snap. Was ist Marvel Snap?
Sorry to interrupt. Were you planning a surprise retirement party for me too?
So you heard the news, huh?
How exactly did everyone find out about this before me?
Someone left your termination papers on the printer.
Fury.
Oh, I'll try to spare the world from evil overlords better next time. Oh, that's right. There's not gonna be a next time.
The decision has been made.
Your replacement has arrived. Yeah, and they put together a fantastic team. I mean, Spider-Man, Gamora, Dr. Doom.
Squirrel Girl.
This makes no sense, and you know it.
It will when you meet them.
Was sehe ich da gerade?
You're my screensaver. See?
Are you out of your...
Irgendein Schrottspiel.
The Sims 2 console lineup is actually pretty well done overall. They even did a console-exclusive spin-off, The Sims 2 Castaway, focusing on surviving on a deserted island. It felt like they were improving the state of Sims on console more and more with each new entry. Genuinely, these games, even if they remove some features from the PC versions, work well on a controller. They feel optimized for them. But when The Sims 3 launched on Xbox 360,
ich spiele, also zuletzt habe ich hier Lego Star Wars gespielt. Resident Evil. Was hatten wir noch zuletzt? Zelda. Mario Galaxy. Crash Bandicoot. Jo. Avengers eigentlich will ich nochmal reingucken. Ja. Ja, das war so das, was wir zuletzt gespielt haben. Okay, Sims 3 für Xbox 360 und PlayStation 3.
and PlayStation 3. It's The Sims 3! No, this wasn't supposed to happen! This is pretty much the base PC game on consoles with barely any features removed, which is good because, like I said, the previous versions would cut content, and this is basically the exact same game. But because of that, we lose the direct control we had in The Sims 2, and my god, do I miss it. Sure, pointing and clicking where to go is way more true to how The Sims was always meant to be played, but there's being true to yourself and not changing who you are to conform to society. And then there's just not taking a shower. For God's sakes, take a fucking bath! I liked how this was a bit different from the PC game. Sure, we're missing some features, but they made up for it with enhanced control and some new exclusive content. And I'd much rather take that than this, which is impressive, no doubt. It's a pretty faithful Sims 3 experience. But this is what I was talking about earlier. This just isn't fun for me to control. Might as well check out the Wii version then.
Ja.
Wii Remote's pointer can easily replicate a mouse.
Oh, guck mal. Durch die Remote-Steuerung ist das auf der Wii vielleicht sogar gar nicht so scheiße.
So, of course, in this version,
Ja, wobei.
you have direct control of your sim. So, the version with a mouse replacement has you controlling your Sims like in The Sims 2 on consoles, and the version with a standard controller has you pointing and clicking. We're just doing things that make sense today! I guess the pointer
Ja, das ist schon seltsam.
controls plus the direct control option would make the Wii release the best of the bunch, but it is on the Wii.
Das ist gerade hängen geblieben.
It is on the Wii.
Ah, nee. Schreibt nicht. Und das kurz im Video. Ach, das ist das Videospiel laggt.
Say, I get better control for worse performance. Maybe the DS version will. God damn.
Oh, yeah.
Now, The Sims
Sure.
4 was basically a one-to-one conversion. You even get the same expansion packs from the PC on consoles for the first time ever. The Sims 3 still did the standalone pets release thing, but because of the parity between versions, controls
Mit Xbox Connect.
are still clunky point and click here. It's great that console users get the same exact game now, but what if I don't want that? Well, wrapping up the Sims discussion, we have...
Genau das! Davon habe ich gerade eben geredet. Das ist das, was meine Schwester hatte. Und das hat ja, Ach, verrückt, ey. Ich werde da irgendwie nostalgisch, auch wenn ich das selber halt nicht gespielt habe und so, aber... Ja. Zum Beispiel er ist die Person, die ich eben angesprochen habe, eine der Personen, die Scheißspiele, einfach so Quatschspiele besitzt, aber bei ihm ist es auch ja irgendwo sein Job. My Sims, das ist das. Ihr seht das, das sieht ein bisschen mehr aus nach Animal Crossing als nach Sims und ist eine ganz eigene Geschichte.
To mention My Sims, a spin-off of the series made specifically for the Nintendo systems at the time, Wii and DS. It's kind of like how The Herbs was an attempt to consoleize The Sims, but this time we have custody. My Sims did actually get a release on Windows, but it's very apparent how laser-focused this game was on capturing the Wii's audience. The Sims in this game look far more like Mii's than Sims. The gameplay feels much more akin to something like Animal Crossing, where you're needing to rebuild your town.
Ja, voll. Da seht ihr das mit den Bäumen? Ja, hatte ich richtig im Kopf. Das ist voll Animal Crossing.
By crafting and customizing furniture and housing and collecting things through the power of friendship. I don't know, isn't this from the series with the piss meter? Yes, a far more family-friendly, cutesy take on The Sims. Of course, when you whittle the franchise down to anything under a PG rating, you're pretty much left with a furniture builder. That's My Sims! Hey, the game did well enough to get new...
What? Was? Es gab einige Spin-Offs dazu. Das ist ja irre. Das ist ja irre. Ja, aber klar, so Animal Crossing-like, aber dann... Es gab ja Animal Crossing auf der Wii. Ich weiß nicht, ob das günstiger war hier, My Sims. Ich glaube eigentlich nicht, also...
Numerous follow-ups. My Sims Kingdom was more of a linear adventure, going from island to island solving residents' problems. My Sims Party, My Sims Racing, My Sims Agents, My Sims Sky Heroes. That's a stretch! After all these games, I'm not really sure what the My Sims franchise was. Yeah, you can have them on weekends. Because if I'm gonna be spending my time doing anything, it's improving my credibility. Let's try Half-Life, the first game by legendary game developer Valve, released for Windows in 1998. See, I can do more than own Gobble. I can play one of the greatest video games of all time on PC, even nowadays. The world design, story, and interactivity are second to none. It's wild to play a shooter from this time that isn't a slog to get through or confusing in some way. Half-Life is amazing. If only I could play it 12 feet over there. Well, we're in luck. Just barely. Half-Life came to console in 2001 on the PlayStation 2.
Half-Life 2 habe ich ja sehr viel Gutes gehört. Half-Life 2 gibt's doch, ne? Aber war das nicht so, dass alle auf Half-Life 3 warten?
My sentence has finished. This was the only console version of 2001 on the PlayStation. In luck. Just amazing. If only I could play it 12 feet over there. Well, we're in luck. Just barely. Half-Life came to console in 2001 on the PlayStation 2. My sentence has finished. This was the only console version of Half-Life 1. Never came to the Xbox, GameCube, 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, none of that. It was meant to release on the Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, that's right, just like the Grinch. They eventually canceled this version as by the time it was ready to come out, the Dreamcast wasn't. That's not to say you can't play the game on Dreamcast. A nearly complete build leaked around 2013. You can burn that onto a disc and play on the console. But the PlayStation 2 version, that legally released. Everybody give it up for doing the right thing! Let's play Half-Life on PlayStation 2 and loiter. Oh man, they're gonna cancel each other out. You know, this game still holds up tremendously well, even on PS2. You obviously get a much nicer and smoother experience on PC, but the console version is no slouch with new multiplayer modes, loads of control options including mouse and keyboard support, plus just an overall fairly stable conversion from the computer. It's shocking to me that this was the
Es läuft Zelda-Musik, das finde ich sehr schön.
only console release Half-Life 1 ever got, when this I'd consider to be a technical success. Now just imagine adding a 2 on the original Xbox to the title. Half-Life 2 on the original Xbox, much like how 1 was a console exclusive
Half-Life 2 gab's.
on PS2, 2 is a console exclusive here, though it eventually made its way over to the next generation platforms. You ever play one of the greatest games of all time, and your first game experience was the Xbox port? Half-Life 2 was a landmark title, and it's still impressive to this day, and how interactive everything is, how smooth it all feels, the incredible design. It feels so natural to play, like your first playthrough is your
Vielleicht muss ich irgendwann mal Half-Life 2 spielen.
You feel like a badass in this game. On the PC. On the Xbox, it's still Half-Life 2. Yeah, this feels like the PC version with resolution and frame rate clocked down a few pegs. Sure, that's a good thing, meaning they barely changed or removed anything. And yeah, good on the original Xbox for being able to play this game. That surely was not an easy task in 2005.
No.
It's just not the most compelling to look back at least with The Sims busting out on GBA. Like, damn, this game has Dusty Hog. That is one seldom used.
Das ist doch kein Gameboy. Was? Was ist das?
Nah, this one is just Half-Life 2, running somewhat poorly. Me figuring that out is almost as impressive as me being colorblind. It's more than playable, but obviously there are much better methods of playing the game on console now. Plus, many of Valve's other games. The Purple Box.
Was ist das denn? Was ist das? Es sind 3 Spiele in einem irgendwie.
A collection not only containing Half-Life 2 and its follow-up Half-Life 2 Episode 1, but 3 games that made their debut as a part of this set: Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal. Seriously, this was how these games launched. Still one of the greatest deals in all of gaming. Getting 3 new Valve releases bundled together alongside Half-Life 2? The good version this time! But since these titles launched day and date on PC and Xbox 360, they aren't really PC games that came to console, though with Valve historically being a PC game developer, it's obvious these are PC games at their heart. That doesn't mean they don't work well on console. I mean, these are all first-person games that map everything perfectly to a controller. The keyboard and mouse is definitely a preference rather than a necessity for these games, which shows how control may not always be the reason for a game sticking to PC. Due to game consoles being a dedicated piece of hardware that's not upgradable like a PC and are meant to last a good few years, more often than not, if you're developing for the latest PlayStation system, you're developing for years.
Tomorrow is yours. To imagine. To dare. To fail. To succeed. To create. Salomon, tomorrow is yours.
Ich weiß nicht, wofür gerade Werbung gemacht wurde. Ich hab nicht wirklich aufgepasst und ja, so viel dazu. Ach Google, ich nutze dich doch schon.
Developing for years old technology. PC games, you can craft your title around the latest and greatest specs out there. I'm sure the market that's able to buy your product may be more limited, but you're not going to have nearly the amount of restrictions you'd have on consoles. That's why many things not initially made for this screen look like ass. Oh, that's why! The company Crytek was originally known for developing games so graphically intense that PCs were the only known apparatus that could run them. The original Far Cry and Crysis were PC exclusives hell-bent on making me happy. Some of the best looking games of their time. Hell, they still look pretty damn good today. But obviously, when you can only sell your game to people with a powerful PC, reality sets in. You gotta swallow your pride and release your game on home consoles. Eventually, we got Far Cry Instincts on the original Xbox and Crysis on anything with buttons. Crysis on Xbox 360 and PS3 is basically just the PC game with one level missing, no online multiplayer, and downgraded graphics to the point where it's not the graphical powerhouse it once was. It still looks fine, but 95% of the reason most were interested in Crysis in 2007 was to ogle. When you take that away, I mean, it's still a great game, but the...
Das ist schon verrückt. Aber mit den Teilen, ich glaube, ich besitze Ich glaube, ich besitze Crysis. Irgendwas davon besitze ich, aber ich habe das nie wirklich. Ich habe da mal kurz reingeguckt oder so.
The intense graphics were honestly a big part of what made Crysis Crysis. Far Cry Instincts, on the other hand, this is just a flat-out different game from the PC original. It's based on it, but to ensure it would run on the Xbox, they basically made a new game that got the gist of Far Cry 1. The story's a bit different, the level design has been altered to be more console-friendly.
Das ist aber auch interessant, wenn die da wirklich so fast ein neues Spiel rausmachen.
It's pretty much just a dumbed-down Far Cry, but this game got a sequel, Instincts Evolution. Yeah, but it's only a sequel to this version, not the original Far Cry 1. Then the sequel got a remake on Wii.
Ach du meine Herren. Boah, vor allem Far Cry auf der Wii.
Titled Far Cry Vengeance, then Far Cry Instincts Predator was an Xbox 360 version of both Instincts and Evolution, and then Far Cry 2 released.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't explaining Far Cry, I was explaining quantum physics!
Far Cry's PC origins are similar to many a series, like The Witcher. Yeah, The Witcher 1 never released on anything but PC.
Das erklärt, warum ich nie was von Witcher 1 mitbekommen habe. Aber auf einmal gab es Witcher 3. Aber Witcher 2 nicht mit.
It was meant to get an Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 edition titled The Witcher Rise of the White Wolf, but that ended up getting canned. It's a shame, because there's nothing about this game that feels like it needs to be a PC game. Eventually, The Witcher 2 released on PC only as well, later on receiving just an Xbox 360 version, and ever since then, the series has been multi-platform with The Witcher 3 launching on damn near everything. Actually anything. Which is definitely a trend for many of the most iconic PC franchises of all time. Just take a look at The Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Now this is a PC game. I think. Elder Scrolls made the jump with Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind
Alter, sieht das alt aus.
being offered on the original Xbox in 2002, though Fallout didn't get a mainline console release until Fallout 3 in 2008. Prior to that, the only taste we ever got was Fallout Brotherhood of Steel on Xbox and PlayStation 2. Not Fallout Tactics Brotherhood of Steel on PC, released just 2 years before. No. This is just Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, and it's just as much of a Fallout game as Beat Saber. So the original Fallout games were top-down RPGs. They may be incredibly difficult for a newcomer to approach these days, but there's still a lot to appreciate here. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is also top-down. This is such a mindless and misguided title. This isn't Fallout. This is a beat-em-up with some RPG elements with a world and dialogue options kinda like Fallout. I mean, I can't blame him for not putting the traditional Fallouts on console. Look at this. But this is an example of trying too hard to make a game for a console audience. Those console players don't want to think unlike the PC guys. Let's finally bring Fallout to consoles and just make it Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. What, was this created out of a threat? Pretty embarrassing when the SNES versions of PC games are more faithful. The Super Nintendo was apparently the primo spot for people who didn't have PCs to play PC games. What did they do their taxes on? They didn't. I mean, it was amongst the most powerful systems of its generation and the most popular to boot, so those only made all the sense in the
Macht mich schon ein bisschen glücklich, wenn ich Super Nintendo
world. Maybe if they named it something else, even more PC games would come to it. As it stands, we got the grandfathers of the modern first-person shooter, Wolfenstein 3D and Doom. Well, PowerPoints of them. Hey, the fact these work as well as they do is a bit of a miracle and set the standard for future ports. Oh, there's the standard! These games are completely playable, yet far from ideal, with horrible frame rates and sluggish control. Wolfenstein 3D got butchered by the censors. Really cleaned it up. It's like, damn, this is like a Pixar movie now. Both of these games have gotten
Pixar-Movies sehen doch schöner aus.
numerous re-releases since, more so with Doom. It's been made available for most things now. Why, is this the game that got spread everywhere? I mean, obviously, it's Doom. It's one of the most iconic and beloved PC games of all time, and being a first-person shooter using primitive 3D and numerous 2D elements does make it one of the easiest of the whole genre to make available elsewhere. But that just makes me question the amount of differences between these versions. Most of the console ports of Doom are missing levels. They may be shortened or out of order or missing music or have completely new features. It's always up in the air with Doom ports. They're all different, but that's kind of the beauty of it all. Would you really want all the versions of Doom to be picture perfect, the exact same as the PC version? Because even if they were, you just move on to the version of Doom on the next console you'd own and leave these ones to irrelevancy. The differences between these ports, no matter how negative they are, keep these games alive in the form of talking points. Sure, you have no reason to play Doom on the Sega Saturn anymore, but at least if you did, you'd have something to say about it. Well, that stunk. But if you can pull Wolfenstein and Doom on a Super Nintendo of
Alter, dass Wolfenstein so alt ist. Also, da sehe ich immer wieder, wie wenig Ahnung ich teilweise von gewissen Spielereien habe.
all things, damn it, why not Civilization?
Ja, schön, dass du da warst. Schön, dass du da warst, Manuel. Dann schlaf mal gut. Gute Nacht. Oder falls du überhaupt schlafen gehst. Danke sehr.
Why not do hard drugs? Civ has always been one of my favorite Mac game series. Every mainline game's released on Mac. I said nothing wrong, hee-haw. A strategy game about running a civilization from the very start. Discovering new land or other civilizations, deciding whether or not to declare war on them or team up, figuring out how to utilize your resources, what to research. It seems very overwhelming and complex at first, but once you start playing, it all makes perfect sense and is incredibly natural and addictive to play. You can easily lose hours to just one play session, and much like SimCity, you can either chip away at the same save file for months or always start up a new game, and it'll be an entirely different experience. And it shocked me how many games appeared on consoles, starting with the original SNES. Honestly, this one has loads of SimCity energy. They added tons of character to this version, music, graphical touch-up. The original Civilization is, for lack of better words, fucking creepy. This ain't too bad. In fact, you could say this is preferable to the original PC version in many ways. But moving forward in time to Civilization 6 on Nintendo Switch, I don't know, man. This just isn't fun for me. Maybe playing during the fire had something to do with it, but I doubt it. Civ just has so much more going on with the user interface now. Not that it's super complicated, rather, it just feels far more clunky mapping all these commands to a controller. And not that it's bad, this is just my opinion. I've seen numerous people adapt to the controls and find them to be incredibly intuitive. It's just not for me personally. Well, maybe Civilization Revolution is for me then. Just like Air! This was a console-only spin-off of the series on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and plays very similarly, but is more dumbed down and simplified for a smoother experience with a controller on a TV. It works pretty well here, though obviously the series is still best experienced on PC in my opinion. Though Revolution did get a DS and mobile release, and with a touchscreen, it seems like a match made in heaven, which really makes you think, what about a Wii version? That pointer would do wonders for the experience.
Ey, Wii Play. Ich muss unbedingt nochmal dieses Panzerspiel von Wii Play zocken. Damit hatte ich unfassbaren Spaß früher. Und ich will das durchzocken.
While it was in the works, it ended up getting canceled due to the amount of resources it would have taken to craft a lower-end version of a game made for HD consoles. That's a shame because this control setup would have been amazing. It really makes you think why more PC games didn't come to the system.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Out of fear. Here we have Back to the Future the game on Wii, an older episodic Telltale point-and-click adventure game brought over to Wii and PlayStation 3, which was oddly a trend for that company. Some of their other PC releases would eventually go there, but not Xbox 360, or Wii and Xbox 360, but not PlayStation 3, or just PlayStation 3, or just Xbox 360. Back to the Future eventually got an anniversary edition, which finally put it out on 360 alongside PS4 and Xbox One, so, you know, I can finally sleep. But I assume this would be best on Wii due to the pointer controls. What I got was a game that freaks out when a new color is introduced on screen. It always does that when purple happens. This game works, but it freezes for a few seconds when you fundamentally do anything. And it's not like it's a fast-paced game where this really matters. Like, no, you're just clicking on things in the environment and selecting dialogue options. But it just makes the whole experience feel sluggish. Like, why can't this be smooth? Like Spy Fox. If the Wii can run this, there's no excuse. I mean, this is a classic edutainment point-and-click from the 90s. This, alongside the others like Freddy Fish, Pajama Sam, Putt Putt. They may not be everybody's first pick for a PC game to bring to console, but their simplicity makes them so easy to put on systems like the Wii or Nintendo Switch that you might as well. These are great for kids and created such fun memories for players back in the day, much like the Oregon Trail. One of the greatest PC games of all time has barely been ported to home consoles outside of a few very specific instances, including a release on the Wii.
Hallo Philo, schön, dass du da bist. Es geht hier auf jeden Fall um Akkus, denn meiner ist gleich aufgebraucht und ich beende den Stream. Ich wollte mir dieses Video angucken. Ich glaube, ich habe viele dadurch verloren, leider. Ja. Ich werde kein Reaction-Streamer. So wird es wohl nicht laufen, aber das ist auch in Ordnung. Das war nie mein Ziel. Aber ich gucke das Video eben noch zu Ende, nur ich bin ein bisschen müde auch, muss ich sagen. Schlaf trotzdem nicht bis 5.
In 2011. Oh man, I can't wait to learn about the struggling pioneer life by strategizing what to buy.
Ja, aber Philo, du bist doch viel zu spät gekommen. Wir sind hier doch schon 1,5 Stunden. Da kannst du keine
When to hunt
Erwartungshaltung
and where
an
to
uns
go.
haben.
This isn't the struggling pioneer life. This just stinks.
Yeah, this really feels like they over-engineered the Oregon Trail, trying to make it impressive and modern, more of an actual...
Warum
In der Regel muss ich meinen
diese
Hund
Bäume um?
anleihen. Als ich letztens im Urlaub war, war es so eine wunderschöne Szenerie. Also kann ich den magischen Radierer benutzen und das sah aus, als würde sie brav dort sitzen, ohne angeleint zu sein.
Das war Silke.
Ich bin Svenja und ich habe ein Google Pixel.
Svenja.
Stell dir das McDonald's Premium Menü, Family Bundle oder Couple Menü und spare. Jetzt bei Lieferando.
Ja, Lieferando, muss ich auch sagen, habe ich vor einem Jahr viel häufiger benutzt, jetzt irgendwie kaum noch. Könnte man sagen, ist so gute Entwicklung. Ich frage mich nur, warum das so passiert ist.
More of an actual...
Geldmangel, glaube ich. Ich habe das nicht mitbekommen. Ja, Philo, das ist schade. Dabei gebe ich mir doch so Mühe, das überall anzukündigen. Aber was willst du machen? Ich sag's ja immer wieder.
game, but it's like the original version is more intuitive and fun than this. That game was so quick and easy to jump into and play. This one is just a slog. And it's like, this should have been perfect. Some game systems just have the perfect interface for these types of games. But nope, put StarCraft on the Nintendo 64.
Jesus, have you ever heard of foreplay?
Like sure, it works. StarCraft made the transition as...
Na gut, Philo, da kann ich dich natürlich schwer erreichen, wenn du nicht am Handy bist. Das ist natürlich klar.
Good as it could here, but why? It's just confusing. This is the only console port the StarCraft series ever received. It's pretty good for what it is, but like, what the hell? Warcraft is in the same boat. The second game is the only one that ever came to console.
Warcraft 2? Haben die da mal unterschiedliche Titel rausgebracht, tatsächlich?
It's just the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. I just find it confusing. They try once and then give up. Why try once instead of not at all, or at least try one more time? Because while these Blizzard-developed series barely ever came to consoles, Diablo has consistently, with all the main entries receiving ports. I guess it makes sense, as Diablo, being an action RPG hack and slash, translates pretty smoothly over to a controller. But Blizzard has always been a PC-oriented company, so much so that their biggest game of all time, World of Warcraft, was always just a PC game. Most of these games were simply just designed with that keyboard and mouse setup. Bringing them over to consoles, yeah, it'll work, but it's just not the same. Even nowadays, they seem to be putting less effort into revamping user interfaces for consoles and just putting the game as you know it on there, like Microsoft Flight Simulator. However, with the amount of games I've talked about making an oddball jump to consoles, many of the most iconic...
Das sieht aber realistisch
However, with the
aus.
amount of games I've talked about making an...
Das sieht sehr realistisch aus.
Oddball jump to consoles, many of the most iconic
nach Deutschland aus.
series of all time began as PC-only titles. Tetris, Minecraft, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Grand Theft Auto, all games that launched as PC exclusives. Hell, a series like Grand Theft Auto abandoned its lineage with console versions launching first in most instances these days. It shows how releasing on PC is oftentimes easier for some games to start off on, even if they end up working better on consoles in the end. So while many titles can stumble in the transition, that transition is necessary for...
War doch safe, Schweine. Ja, safe.
For franchise's evolution. Even if it controls or looks worse, trying new things is how growth occurs.
Maybe I should do the same. I've had fun playing these PC games, and their console counterparts, oftentimes, well, worse, are perfectly playable enough. There's so much more to gaming than just the latest Nintendo thing. And I feel like I've severely limited my options and my growth as a human being by just assuming I wouldn't like these games. And there's so many more PC games on console that I haven't taken a look at or even mentioned. Maybe someday, but for now, I think I really just need to look at that PC over there and give the biggest nod of my life saying, yes! I will relapse!
nicht gesehen. Ja, ich werde meinen Abend jetzt anders gestalten weiterhin, beziehungsweise ab jetzt. Ich meine, ich werde den restlichen Abend anders verbringen als streamen. Ich bin ein bisschen müde, aber nicht so müde, dass ich schlafen würde wahrscheinlich. Beziehungsweise muss ich auch erstmal nochmal was essen und so weiter. Naja, ich danke, dass ihr dabei wart. Wir sehen uns die Tage, spätestens Sonntag. Akkuzeitschriften lesen ist natürlich auch eine Idee. Und passt auf euch auf. Tschüss! Ich mach die Scheiße nicht mehr lange mit. Es ist einfach nur ein Scheißhaufen. Diese ganze Veranstaltung immer. Ich hasse Twitch.